I can't believe I'm saying this, but it looks like the Democrats may actually be poised to gain an edge in the presidential election thanks to the divisive topic of immigration. In this video, I'm going to tell you why a couple recent policy moves by President Biden aimed at looking tough on the border have really flipped the script, invigorating his party's candidate for the Oval Office, Kamala Harris. We'll look at the effects of Biden's so-called asylum ban, as well as a proposed law that he championed, the scuttling of which by Trump is giving Harris and the Democrats ammunition in the campaign. I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. Let me know in the comments if you've got an asylum case pending, or maybe you're just, considering applying at this stage. Well, listen, I'd really like to hear from you. If you've been waiting for an interview with USCIS for multiple years, let me know in the comments how long. Immigration policy, now especially concerning the southern border, has become a central battleground in presidential elections. It's an issue that resonates deeply with voters across the political spectrum, and President Biden, recognizing this, has been shifting his approach to appeal to a broader electorate. His recent moves on immigration have been decidedly more conservative, reflecting a strategic pivot as we head into the 2024 election season. And now, Kamala Harris, who is set to replace Biden on the Democratic ticket, well, she's leaning into immigration as well. In fact, both sides, the Republicans and Democrats, have come to see immigration in general and the border and asylum specifically as an issue that can help them get an electoral edge. A dramatic drop in illegal border crossings of late has the potential to reshape the narrative, possibly erasing what was a huge liability for Democrats. In June 2024, Biden introduced new asylum rules that really tightened restrictions on who could seek asylum in the United States. Now, these rules required that migrants first seek asylum in other countries they pass through before reaching the US, or that they use official legal pathways like scheduling an appointment at a port of entry through the CBP-1 application. And really, the results were striking. Daily crossings at the border plummeted to their lowest levels since early 2021, and it's a win for the Biden administration, and it's one that they're trumpeting loudly and for good reason. If the numbers hold, it could be a game changer for Democrats in the upcoming election. This is an issue that Americans care deeply about. But let's zoom out and look at Biden's broader immigration moves over the past couple of years. It's really kind of a mixed bag of increased enforcement and attempts at humanitarian solutions. Now, to be sure, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, has been busy. They've deported or removed over 740,000 people from the country in the past year alone. That's the highest number since 2010. And the number of agents patrolling the border has swelled to over 24,000. And they're backed by cutting-edge tech like autonomous surveillance towers. But it hasn't all been smooth sailing. These new policies faced immediate legal challenges. A federal judge called them arbitrary and capricious, temporarily blocking their implementation. Now, an appeals court later stepped in, allowing the rules to stay in effect while the legal battles play out. And an end to the policy could open the floodgates once again, erasing any advantage the Democrats gained by the slowdown in border crossings. Biden has also made an overture to voters who care about the nation's undocumented population, which is around 11 million people. Biden's recent parole in place policy is a prime example of his attempt to strike a delicate balance on immigration. Now, this policy allows certain undocumented immigrants who are immediate relatives of either U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents to stay in the country temporarily without fear of deportation. To be sure, it's a calculated move that aims to appeal to multiple constituencies. For centrists, Biden wants to show a willingness to enforce immigration laws while also exercising discretion and a bit of compassion. For immigration advocates and Latino voters, Biden wants to show compassion and a recognition of the complex realities faced by mixed status families. It's a strategy that recognizes the political reality. While many Americans want stricter border control, they're often less enthusiastic about deporting long-term residents with deep community ties. So Biden is kind of walking a political tightrope here. On one hand, he's trying to look tough on border security to address the concerns of many voters. But On the other, he's showing that he cares about families already in the United States that would be torn apart if all or nearly all undocumented persons were removed. By the way, if you want to maximize your chances for asylum success, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you don't miss the insights that I share on this channel. All right, so we just sketched out the landscape that the two current candidates for president, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, inherit as they seek to win on the issue of immigration. And make no mistake, it has emerged as one of the most critical issues for voters. Let's look at Trump first. His previous tenure as president was marked by hardline immigration policies. Remember the family separation policy, the travel ban on predominant Muslim countries, i.e. the Muslim ban, the use of Title 42 to effectively close the border? Well, these were hallmarks of the Trump administration's approach to immigration. And if we're to believe his campaign promises, well, a second Trump term would double down on these restrictive types of measures. He has vowed to conduct the largest domestic deportation operation in U.S. history, and he wants to finish building the U.S.-Mexico border wall to end birthright citizenship and reinstate the Muslim travel ban. Really, it's a vision of America with firmly closed doors and a send them back mentality. Now, Harris, on the other hand, is singing a very different tune. She's positioning herself as a champion of comprehensive immigration reform. Now, Harris supports creating a pathway to citizenship for some undocumented immigrants with a special focus on dreamers. These are people who are brought to the United States as children. She also emphasizes addressing the root causes of migration by improving conditions in Central American countries. Now, that's a long-term strategy that seeks to stem the tide of migration at its source. Harris also stands firm on asylum as a fundamental human right. She's proposing to add more immigration judges to tackle the massive backlog of asylum cases. And it's an approach that aims to make the system more efficient and arguably more just. Still, like Biden, Harris is trying to strike a balance. Her pro-immigration talk is actually counterbalanced by efforts to look tough on the border. At a recent campaign rally, she bashed Trump for single-handedly killing a bipartisan border bill that would have gotten tough on the border. Amazingly, Trump literally told Republicans to vote against it because it would represent progress that would be attributed to the Democrats, thereby helping them and hurting Trump in the polls. In other words, Harris is rightfully accusing Trump of playing politics with the border. And this represents yet another push by President Biden to leverage immigration as a winning political issue. He indeed championed the bill that Trump shot down, and Biden was quick to criticize Trump for that baldly self-serving move, just as Harris was. Now, Harris, by the way, recently started running ads on social media around this theme, highlighting Trump's decision to torpedo a bill that most Americans would probably agree was a smart move on immigration. Still, even with this talk about getting tough on the border, the contrast between Harris and Trump on immigration couldn't be starker. It's a microcosm of the broader divide between Democratic and Republican approaches to immigration. You see, Harris envisions a more welcoming America, one that treats immigration as an opportunity rather than a threat. Now, Trump sees not just illegal immigration, but immigration generally as a crisis that needs to be met with force and restrictive policies. As we head into the 2024 election, immigration will undoubtedly be a key battleground. The candidate who convinced voters that they have the right approach to this complex issue, well, they may well find themselves with the keys to the White House. But whoever wins will face the daunting task of turning campaign rhetoric into effective policy. If you're ready to take the next step and get help with your asylum case, then call my office today. That number is 713-909-0401. And remember, we help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you live. Call us right now to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can help you secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's truly an honor to serve you in your asylum journey.